Hello, I am Joshua Devora, and this is my video assignment number 2 for Kinesiology 3073 Strength and Conditioning. First, we are going to begin with our general warm-up on the rower. Before beginning any power or speed training session, it's important to complete a proper general warm-up. The purpose of this general warm-up is to gradually increase our heart rate, elevate our body temperature, increase our blood flow to the working muscles, and prepare both the cardiovascular and neuromuscular systems for high-intensity exercise. A proper warm-up also helps us reduce the risk of injury while improving overall performance during our explosive movements. For today's session, I'm going to use the rowing machine for approximately 8 minutes. This is an excellent choice for a general warm-up because it activates nearly every major muscle group while remaining low impact. During each stroke, the quads, hamstrings, gluteus maximus, calves, latissimus dorsi, trapezius, shoulders, biceps, forearms are all contributing to produce force. Since today's workout emphasizes Olympic lifting, plyometrics, agility, and battle rope exercises, rowing prepares both the upper and lower body simultaneously. It also reinforces coordinated movement patterns and helps prime the nervous system before transitioning into more explosive exercises. Following this general warm-up, I am going to transition into a dynamic stretching routine. Unlike static stretching, this dynamic stretching involves controlled movement through an active range of motion. The goal is to increase joint mobility, activate the muscles that will be used during the training session, improve movement quality, and further prepare the nervous system for explosive athletic performance. This is especially beneficial for before power-based workouts because it helps maintain force production while improving mobility and movement efficiency. Throughout these drills, I focus on controlled movements, proper posture, and smooth technique rather than rushing through each exercise. We are now getting ready to move into our dynamic stretches, where we will complete each stretch for about 20 yards. We will begin with the straight leg march. The straight leg march dynamically stretches the hamstrings while improving hip mobility and reinforcing proper posture during locomotion. We are going to be standing in a tall position with both arms outstretched in front of our chest. We are going to kick one leg up to touch the hands. The main muscles affected in this stretch include the gluteus maximus, hamstrings, iliopsoas muscles, and the rectus femoris. For our next dynamic stretch, we are going to be performing hamstring scoops. This is another dynamic stretch that targets the hamstrings while improving flexibility and movement quality before explosive running and jumping activities. As I extend the leg and reach toward the foot, I'm actively lengthening the hamstrings while maintaining good posture. The primary muscles involved in this movement include the hamstrings, the calves, the gluteals, and the hip flexors. For our next stretch, we are going to be performing high knees. This drill dynamically activates the hip flexors, quads, calves, and core while maintaining an upright posture and quick ground contact prepares the body for explosive acceleration later on in the workout. Our next stretch is going to be butt kicks. This stretch dynamically warm-ups the quadriceps while activating the hamstrings through rapid knee flexion. This helps improve lower body coordination and prepares the muscles used during sprinting and jumping. The primary muscles involved are the hamstrings, quadriceps, calves, and hip flexors. Our next stretch is going to be the inverted hamstring stretch. This stretch improves dynamic flexibility while challenging balance and single leg stability. As I hinge forward at the hips, I am actively stretching the hamstrings while strengthening the glute muscles and improving neuromuscular control. This exercise prepares the posterior chain for explosive hip extension. The main muscles affected in this stretch include the gluteus maximus, hamstrings, hip abductors, hip adductors, and the erector spinae. Our next stretch is going to be the heel to toe walk. This will help improve ankle mobility, balance, and lower leg activation. As you can see, we're going to stand erect with our feet parallel to each other and shoulder width apart. With each small step forward, we're going to place the heel on the ground first and then continue to dorsiflex the foot. We will immediately roll forward and rise up as high as possible onto the ball of the foot. We will repeat with each forward step. The muscles affected in this stretch include the gastrocnemius, soleus, and anterior tibialis. Our next stretch is going to be the walking knee lift. This movement will help improve hip mobility and reinforces proper posture during running and explosive athletic movements. As you can see, we are going to stand erect with our feet parallel to each other and shoulder width apart. With each step forward, we are going to flex the hip and move the knee upward toward the chest. We will grasp the front of the knee and use the arms to pull that knee up further and squeeze the thigh against the chest. We will dorsiflex the foot that is up of the knee flexed. Keeping the torso erect, we will pause for a moment, then proceed to step down with that leg. We will progress forward with each step. The muscles affected in this movement include the gluteus maximus and the hamstrings. Our next step is going to be a walking quadriceps pull. This dynamic stretch targets the quadriceps and hip flexors while also challenging single leg balance. During this stretch, we want to make sure that we are maintaining an upright posture throughout the movement to help improve lower body mobility and prepare the front of the thigh for explosive jumping and sprinting activities. The main muscles being targeted here are the rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, and the vastus intermedius. Our next stretch is going to be A-skips. These are a fundamental sprint drill used to reinforce proper acceleration mechanics. This will help improve coordination, rhythm, posture, and force production while emphasizing active knee drive and quick ground contact. The primary muscles involved include the hip flexors, quadriceps, glutes, calves, hamstrings, and core. Our next dynamic stretch is going to be skips for height. This will help emphasize vertical force production and triple extension through the hips, knees, and ankles. This will also help develop lower body power while reinforcing explosive jumping mechanics that will directly transfer to today's plyometric and Olympic lifting exercises. Our next dynamic movement will be the carioca. This will help develop coordination, agility, and rotational mobility while improving movement in the frontal and transverse planes. The crossing movement activates the hip abductors, hip adductors, glute muscles, calves, and core while preparing the body for multi-directional athletic movements. Our next dynamic movement will be walking hip circles, also known as open the gate. These will dynamically improve hip mobility by moving the hip through a large range of motions. This exercise activates the hip flexors, glutes, hip rotators, and core while preparing the hips for explosive movement and changes of direction. Our final dynamic movement will be walking lateral lunges. Walking lateral lunges will help prepare the body for movement in the frontal plane by improving hip mobility, groin flexibility, and lateral strength. This stretch helps activate the quadriceps, gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, adductors, the hamstrings, and the core while preparing the lower body for lateral jumping and agility drills. Now we are going to move into our main program segment where we will begin with our first exercise modality, the Olympic lift clean with variations with the barbell. For our first exercise, we will be performing the power clean. This first variation is the standard power clean. I am making sure to grab the barbell with a closed pronated grip with my feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart and the bars with the starting position just about an inch away from my shins. I am making sure to maintain a neutral spine, engage my core, and keep my shoulders slightly over the bar. I initiate the movement by driving forcefully through the floor, extending the hips, and shrugging explosively to accelerate the bar upward. This second variation begins from blocks, which for here we have plates instead of blocks, which allows us to shorten the pull distance and allow for greater emphasis on the explosive hip extension. These barbell power cleans are one of the most effective exercises for developing total body explosive power. They train rapid force production through triple extension of the hips, knees, and ankles, making it highly beneficial for sprinting, jumping, and overall athletic performance. This third variation, we are using a deficit by having our feet placed on top of the plates. This increases the range of motion and requires greater force production from the lower body. The major muscles involved in this movement include the gluteus maximus, semimembranosus, semitendinosus, biceps femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus intermedius, vastus medialis, rectus femoris, soleus, gastrocnemius, deltoids, and the trapezius muscles. Next, we will move into exercise 2, the hang clean. Like the power clean, this exercise develops explosive strength, coordination, and rapid force production. However, starting from the hang position places greater emphasis on the second pull and explosive hip extension. I am once again holding the bar with a closed pronated grip and my feet shoulder width apart, with my hands placed on the bar slightly wider than shoulder width apart. This first variation starts from the mid-thigh, which emphasizes rapid hip extension. For all these variations, I begin standing with the barbell in front of my thighs before hinging at the hips to the designated starting position while maintaining a neutral spine and tight core. From there, I will explosively extend the hips, knees, and ankles, that triple extension, before quickly pulling myself under the bar and receiving it in the front rack position. This second variation here begins just above the knees, which increases the amount of force generated during the pull. For our final third variation, we are going to start just below the knees, which increases the range of motion and requires greater acceleration before the catch. Throughout every rep, I wanted to make sure to keep the bar close to my body and avoid curling the weight with my arms. The hang clean is a great exercise that develops explosive power throughout the posterior chain while improving coordination, balance, and athletic performance during things like sprinting and jumping activities. We are now going to move into exercise modality 2, lower body plyometrics with a plyometric box. Our first exercise will be the box jump. This first variation is the bilateral or double leg box jump, which allows for maximal power production. To perform this exercise, I stand facing the box with my feet about shoulder width apart. I initiate the movement with a quick counter movement by flexing my hips and knees before driving explosively through the ground. I am making sure to fully extend my hips, knees, and ankles to jump onto the box and making sure to land softly with slightly bent knees before standing upright. I am then taking my time to step back down under control before beginning the next repetition. This second variation is the unilateral or single leg box jump. This increases the demand on balance, stability, and force production from one leg. These box jumps exercises develop explosive lower body power by utilizing the stretch shortening cycle. This allows athletes to produce force rapidly for jumping, sprinting, and other explosive movements. The primary muscles involved in this exercise are the gluteus maximus, quadriceps, hamstrings, gastrocnemius, and soleus, while the core works to stabilize the trunk throughout the movement. Common mistakes for this exercise, the box jumps, include allowing the knees to collapse inward, landing with stiff legs, failing to fully extend during takeoff, or jumping down from the box instead of stepping down. Proper landing mechanics are just as important as the jump itself for reducing injury risk. This third and final variation is the lateral box jump, where I jump sideways onto the box to develop lateral explosiveness and frontal plane power while maintaining the same jumping mechanics. Now we are going to move to exercise 2 of this modality, the depth jump. Here, this depth jump is one of the most advanced plyometric exercises, and it is used to improve reactive strength and explosive power. Unlike the previous box jump, the goal of this exercise is to minimize ground contact time while producing maximal force immediately after landing. This exercise is especially beneficial for athletes who need to accelerate, change direction quickly, and jump repeatedly during competition. This first variation is the standard depth jump. I begin by stepping straight out, not jumping off or lowering my center of gravity, taking a straight step out and stepping off the box and landing softly on both feet with my knees and hips slightly flexed. As soon as I contact the ground, I immediately explode straight up into the jump while maintaining proper alignment and balance. I am also looking during the jump to minimize horizontal movement. We are now going to move into our second variation of this exercise, the depth jump to a second box. This second variation adds a jump onto a second box immediately after landing. This increases the demand for explosive force production. For this exercise, I am once again looking to keep the time on the ground to a minimum. Once I land, I'm immediately looking to jump and explode back up to that second box while landing with soft knees once again, and making sure to maintain proper jump mechanics. Common mistakes for these exercises include spending too much time on the ground after landing, allowing excessive knee valgus, landing with poor posture, or failing to absorb force properly before the next explosive movement. Maintaining quick, controlled, and efficient movement is essential for maximizing power development. For this third variation, I'm going to have my sister help me out to incorporate a visual reaction cue. This requires me to react and move laterally immediately after landing. This combines reactive strength with decision-making and change of direction ability. I am once again looking to maintain the same depth jump mechanics, stepping straight out and keeping the time on the floor to a minimum. Immediately upon landing, my sister is providing the visual cue and pointing to the direction that she wants me to sprint to. We are now going to move into our third modality, upper body plyometrics. The first exercise will be the plyometric push-up. This first variation is going to be the depth push-up where I will use a medicine ball. We are going to begin in a prone push-up position with our elbows fully extended on top of the ball. I am then going to drop down with my hands, prone, slightly wider than shoulder width apart, before immediately exploding back up to catch myself on top of the ball. When pushing off the ground, I wanted to make sure to fully extend my elbows. Now we will move into the second variation, the clap push-up. This variation requires greater force production in order to generate enough height for the clap before landing safely. These exercises develop explosive upper body power by requiring rapid force production from the chest, shoulders, and triceps. It also improves upper body rate of force development, which benefits athletes involved in football, basketball, volleyball, and other sports requiring powerful pushing movements. Now we are moving into the third variation, which is the alternating plyometric push-up performed with one hand elevated on weight plates. This increases unilateral loading and shoulder stability demands while maintaining the same explosive push-up movement. Common mistakes include allowing the hips to sag, landing with locked elbows, or failing to maintain a neutral spine throughout the exercise. We are now moving to our next exercise, medicine ball throws. I have frozen the video so that I can explain the form. This first variation is the supine power drop. Once again, my sister is going to help me demonstrate this exercise. As you can see, I am lying with my head directly close to the bench, my shoulders flexed around 90 degrees, and my elbows fully extended, with my sister holding the ball directly over my hands. As you can see, as soon as she drops the ball, I'm immediately catching with both arms and exploding it back up to her. This second variation is going to be the two-hand overhead throw. Here we are looking to generate force through triple extension before projecting the medicine ball forward. These exercises use explosive medicine ball throws to develop upper body power and total body coordination. These movements train the athlete to rapidly transfer force from the lower body through the core and into the upper extremities, making them valuable for many throwing, striking, and overhead athletic movements. With every exercise throw, I'm making sure to begin with a counter movement. Now, our final and third variation is the single arm shot put throw. This develops unilateral upper body power and rotational force production while improving coordination between the hips, trunk, and shoulder. Throughout every throw, I am maintaining a stable core, generating force from the lower body whenever appropriate, and releasing the ball explosively. Common mistakes include failing to brace the core or releasing the ball before achieving full extension. These exercises improve explosive upper body strength, coordination, and sport-specific power production. We are now moving into exercise modality 4, hurdle drills. For exercise 1, we will be performing linear hurdle hops. I begin in an athletic stance with my chest up and eyes forward. Before each jump, I perform a quick counter movement and then explosively extend through my hips, knees, and ankles to clear each hurdle. My goal is to land softly on the balls of my feet with slight flexion at the hips and knees before immediately exploding up into the next jump. This first variation here is the bilateral front barrier hop, which develops symmetrical lower body power. These exercises develop explosive lower body power, reactive strength, and the ability to rapidly produce force while minimizing ground contact time. These qualities are essential for things like sprinting, like jumping, accelerating during athletic competition. The primary muscles involved in these exercises are the gluteus maximus, quadriceps, hamstrings, gastrocnemius, soleus, and core stabilizers. This second variation here is the unilateral single leg front barrier hop. This is increasing force production and stability demands on one leg while maintaining the same jumping pattern. This third and final variation is the high knees through hurdles drill. This is emphasizing rapid foot turnover, sprint mechanics, and coordination while maintaining quick ground contact times. Common mistakes in these exercises include excessive ground time, landing with stiff knees, allowing the knees to collapse inward, or looking down instead of keeping the eyes forward. Proper landing mechanics and fast reaction times maximizes both performance and safety. We are now going to move into exercise 2, the lateral hurdle hops. I'm going to begin with this first variation is the standard lateral barrier hop using both legs. These exercises focus on developing explosive power in the frontal plane while improving lateral movement, balance, and change of direction ability. Many sports require these athletes to generate force side to side rather than only moving forward, so these drills will be especially valuable. For these hurdle exercises, I make sure to begin in an athletic stance, and then by using a quick counter movement, I will explode laterally over the hurdle while maintaining control of my trunk and hips. I am making sure to land softly with bent knees before immediately preparing to explode up for the next repetition. This second variation is the 4 hurdle drill, performed unilaterally on a single leg. This increases balance, coordination, and unilateral force production. For this variation, we are going to have 2 pairs of hurdles, with each hurdle in the pair being separated by about 12 inches, and then the pairs of hurdles being separated by about 18 inches. This third variation is the bilateral zigzag hop, where I continue the same lateral hopping mechanics while changing the angle of travel through the hurdles to improve multi-directional explosiveness. Throughout each rep of these exercises, I am focusing on maintaining proper alignment and minimizing unnecessary movement. Common mistakes include excessive trunk lean, slow transitions between jumps, and poor landing control. For these double leg zigzag hops, I'm going to start outside that first hurdle and then look to jump diagonally to the outside of the next hurdle, while continuing this movement till I complete all hurdles. I am making sure to minimize ground contact time and looking to explosively jump to the next hurdle. We are now going to move into our fifth modality, agility ladder drills. With our first exercise, we are going to do alternating footwork. For these first drills, we are focused on alternating footwork patterns. Although this agility ladder does not directly improve absolute running speed, it is a great tool for developing foot quickness, coordination, rhythm, and body control. These drills also reinforce efficient movement mechanics that transfer well to many sports. This first variation uses 2 steps forward through each section of the ladder. I begin in an athletic position with my knees slightly bent, my chest upright, and my eyes looking forward. Throughout each drill, I remain light on my feet while making quick, precise contacts inside each square. For this first drill, I'm going to alternate footwork. So, I'm going to do 3 reps down and back with my right foot, and as you can see, I will switch to start with my left foot. Again, similar to other drills we have done so far, we want to limit the ground contact time and immediately move to that next section of the ladder. This second variation is the 2 in, 2 out drill. We perform this drill with 2 feet in followed by 2 feet out while moving forward. This increases the coordination demands. Again, just like the last variation, I'm going to start this drill with my right foot first, complete 3 reps down and back, and then I will switch to start with my left foot first to keep that balance. For this third and final variation, we are going to perform the same 2 feet in, 2 feet out pattern, except we are going to do it laterally. This requires greater hip stability and frontal plane control while maintaining the same alternating footwork concept. Since this is the alternating footwork drill, I am once again going to begin with my right foot, complete the correct amount of reps, and then switch over to begin with my left foot. Common mistake for these exercises includes striking the ladder, taking unnecessarily long ground contact times, or allowing the upper body to rotate excessively. The emphasis for these exercises should always be on speed, accuracy, and efficient movement. We are now going to move into our second exercise of this modality, simultaneous footwork. As you can see from this video in this first variation, I'm landing on both feet, hit the ground at the same time, different from the alternating footwork in the exercise 1. These drills develop simultaneous footwork patterns that improve lower body explosiveness, coordination, and rhythm. Unlike the alternating footwork done previously, both feet perform the same movement pattern together, requiring greater synchronization and reactive ability. This first variation here is the bunny hop, where both feet move together through each section of the ladder to develop reactive jumping ability. I am beginning in an athletic stance while maintaining a stable trunk with quick foot contacts. Every movement is performed with maximum speed while maintaining proper technique and limiting ground contact time. This second variation here is the straddle hop. This requires both feet to rapidly move inside and outside each lather square while maintaining coordination. This is similar to the 2 in, 2 out drill done with the alternating footwork, except we have both feet contacting the ground at the same time. This third and final variation is the lateral scissor hop. This introduces a scissoring foot pattern while moving sideways through the ladder, improving lateral coordination and multi-directional movement skills. Throughout every variation of these exercises, I am making sure to emphasize soft landings, rapid, quick ground contact times, and consistent rhythms. Common mistakes for these exercises include jumping too high, losing balance, or sacrificing movement quality for speed. Next, we are going to move to our sixth modality, battle rope power and speed. For our first exercise, we are going to do alternating arm movements. This first battle rope exercise is using alternating arm waves to develop upper body power, muscular endurance, and coordination while challenging core stability. We are just going to do 10-second bursts, really stressing the phosphagen system and maximizing power. This first variation uses a bilateral stance, providing the most stable base of support. Although the movement primarily involves the upper body, force is transferred through the entire kinetic chain, making this an excellent full body conditioning exercise. This second variation performs the same movement in a unilateral stance, increasing balance demands and requiring greater core stabilization. I am grabbing the ropes with a closed neutral grip. I am making sure to begin in an athletic stance with my knees slightly bent, hips back, and core engaged. I rapidly move one arm up while the opposite arm moves down, creating continuous alternating waves throughout the movement. This third variation is performed from a prone plank position using unilateral waves. This significantly increases core activation while maintaining the same alternating wave movement. Common mistakes include standing too upright, allowing excessive trunk movement, using only the arms instead of generating force throughout the entire body, or allowing the ropes waves to become inconsistent. We are now going to move into our second exercise, simultaneous arm movements. This final exercise of today's workout focuses on simultaneous battle rope movements. These drills emphasize rapid upper body force production, shoulder endurance, and coordinated movement while maintaining a stable athletic posture. This first variation here uses simultaneous bilateral waves, where both arms move together to create powerful vertical waves. This second variation performs inward circles, requiring coordinated shoulder movement while maintaining continuous rope motion. I begin with an athletic stance and maintain a neutral spine throughout each variation. Every repetition is performed explosively. This third variation here uses outward circles, challenging shoulder control and muscular endurance throughout the opposite circular movement pattern. These exercises provide an excellent way to finish a power-focused training session while continuing to develop explosive upper body performance. Now we're going to move into our cool down, where we will begin with the elliptical. Following today's explosive training session, it's important to gradually reduce exercise intensity rather than just stopping abruptly. I'm going to begin my cool down with approximately 8 minutes on the elliptical. This will help allow my heart rate, breathing, and circulation to gradually return to resting levels while maintaining blood flow to the muscles that were heavily involved throughout the workout. As we had talked about in class, we want to help make sure to maintain homeostasis. The elliptical helps provide a low-impact movement that continues to engage the quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, calves, shoulders, and upper back without placing additional stress on the joints. Completing a proper aerobic cooldown may help reduce feelings of dizziness after intense exercise and helps prepare the body for the static stretching portion of the recovery process that we will do immediately upon completing our 8 minutes on the elliptical. After completing the aerobic cooldown here on the elliptical, I will transition into static stretching. Unlike dynamic stretching that was performed before the training session, static stretching is more appropriate after training when the muscles are warm. We're going to hold each stretch for approximately 30 seconds to help restore normal range of motion, improve flexibility, reduce muscle tension, and help promote recovery following this high intensity exercise training session. Throughout each stretch, I want to make sure to breathe normally and move only to the point of mild muscular tension without bouncing. So our first static stretch is going to be the semi-leg straddle. We're going to sit on the ground with our knees flexed about 30 to 50 degrees and let the legs relax. While making sure our knees are pointing outward, we will then lean forward from the waist and reach forward with extended arms. The muscles affected in this stretch include the erector spinae muscle. We are stretching that low back from a seated position. Our next static stretch is going to be a forward lunge. From the standing position, we are going to take that long step forward, flexing that front knee, in this case my left knee, until it is directly over the left foot. We are going to keep that left foot flat on the floor while we are making sure that back foot is pointed in the same direction. That back foot is able to come up on the toes. It is not necessary for the heel to remain on the floor. We want to make sure we keep our torso upright, while in this case I'm resting my hands on my hips. Once we are in the lunge position, like I am now, we want to slowly lower the hips forward and downward. The main muscles affected in this stretch include the iliopsoas and the rectus femoris. We are now going to do the step stretch. Here we are looking to stretch the calf while standing on a step. For this static stretch here, I am using the plate as a substitute for the step. We are going to place the ball of the foot on the edge of the plate, while the other foot remains flat on top of the plate. With the foot that has the ball of the foot on the edge of the plate, I'm going to slowly straighten it and lower it to the heel of it to the floor. I'm going to hold it for 30 seconds and then repeat on the other foot. The main muscles affected here are the gastrocnemius, the soleus, and the Achilles tendon. My next static stretch is going to be the side quadricep stretch. Once again, we are going to perform one leg at a time. We will begin by lying on our side with both legs straight. In this case, I am lying on my left side, so I will place my left forearm flat on the floor and the upper arm perpendicular to the floor. I'm going to flex my right knee, and with the heel of my right foot, I'm going to move it to the forward toward my buttocks. I'm then going to grab that front of the ankle with my right hand and pull it toward the buttocks. Here we feel the stretch as a result of knee flexion and hip extension. The muscles being affected include the quadriceps and the iliopsoas. My next static stretch is called the cross arm in front of chest stretch. Here you have the option to do it standing or sitting. I have chosen to do it sitting. And we are then going to cross the right arm while it is slowly flexed across the body. Here you can see my right arm is doing shoulder horizontal adduction. I'm then going to grasp that right arm just above the elbow with my left hand on the posterior side of my right arm. I'm going to pull that arm across the chest towards my other side. Here we are stretching the upper back with the main muscles being affected, including the posterior deltoid, the rhomboids, and the middle trapezius. My next static stretch is going to be the cobra stretch. This stretch primarily stretches the abdominal muscles, hip flexors, and the front of the torso while promoting extension through the spine. It also gently mobilizes the lower back after repeated flexion and explosive movements that were performed throughout the training session. As you can see, this setup was laying prone flat on the floor, stomach down, with our hands slightly wider than shoulder width apart and bending up. Here we're feeling a stretch in our lower back while also letting our elbows stay slightly flexed. We will then return slowly to the floor. The final static stretch for our cool down includes the child's pose. This position will help promote relaxation while gently stretching the latissimus dorsi, spinal erectors, shoulders, glute muscles, and hips. After completing the demanding power training session, this stretch will help reduce muscular tension, encourages controlled breathing, and allows the body to transition into recovery. And this will be the final static stretch and complete the training session. Thank you for watching.